Good morning, buenos dias, Cafecito. Here we are again, Diane Herrera, your fearless leader, and my backup is Miss Yvonne. Thank you.
Nombre
so
is
much,
sidekick. I'm your sidekick.
You're not my sidekick. Miss Yvonne behind the camera. I'm excited today because I went to school with these two guys. I remember when they were young and cute. Oh, well, they're still adorable. They're still adorable. I have Henry Garcia right here next to me, and I have Jesse Montoya on the other side. And we're doing something a little bit different than normally, okay? I'm going to interview them, but because Henry was talking to my husband a few weeks ago, and they were talking about the old neighborhood and the struggles he had as a young boy, you know, living with the lack of utilities, lack of a lot of things. I thought about it. I said, you know, that's what Cafecito has not even touched on. So today, I'm going to do a real quick rundown. Henry went to H.K. Williams, to Truman and Edgewood, and we always say that because we interview only district people. Jesse went to Coronado, ended up at Stafford, Escobar, and then, of course, Edgewood. And the four of us, including my husband Richard, the four of us graduated together, the class of 69. And the reason I have brought them together is because Jesse lived right here on 39th and Eldridge, and I say right here because right now we're on 41st Street. So Jesse lived right here on 39th and Eldridge. And Henry lived on North San Gabriel, right up against Culebra. The reason I'm bringing them together today, and I do want to add something else. Both of them took shops in Edgewood. In shops, they took upholstery. They ended up getting a job right out of high school with Cadillac at that point, or
It might have to be Cavender in the 80s.
Okay. So it was Cadillac back then.
It was Cadillac.
Okay, Cadillac back then. And Henry worked for the Cavenders for 35 years, and Jesse worked for 45 years. So what they did at Edgewood High School in the shops is what they did their entire lives. Now, of course, as technology grew, you know, they attended shops, workshops, they attended meetings, and they learned the new material and the new machinery and everything else. Yeah, the new technology. But this is what we're discussing today. We're going to discuss food because y'all grew up, not me, in the 50s. Y'all. Yeah, I excluded myself. When it was, because I remember not having to walk in the rain, but my friends sure did when it was flooding. Electricity, flushing toilets, hot water, jobs, an automobile, the bus system, whatever you guys could think of as far back as you could go. I've already told our listeners the two sides of Edgewood, even though it was Edgewood, but this one was on this side of Highway 90 and Henry was over there up against Culebra. That's a big difference, okay, to get to Edgewood High School. Whoever wants to start, this is going to be a conversation.
Okay, as far as I can remember while growing up, the area where I lived was, of course, undeveloped. It was the only utilities that we had was electricity. The house we lived in, my father built after he came back from World War II. And we did not have running water. We did not have gas. We did not have a sewer system. We did not have hardly anything. But that was home. That's what our parents could afford to give us.
Y la casita was built by your dad,
Yeah, it was built by my father.
Okay.
That's what he learned to do while he was in the army, while in World War II.
Oh, okay.
He would go from island to island, building up for the armed forces to come in and establish. And he learned carpentry, electricity, plumbing, everything. So he knew how to build a house.
Right.
And he built a small house, and that's where we lived.
How many kids, Henry, in your family?
7.
Y'all were 7.
7.
Y tú, Jesse, how many kids?
There were myself and my sisters, 5 sisters and myself, 6.
6 kids.
And
6 kids.
my parents.
Yeah, and the parents. Okay, so that was a small family because I know I had tias with 8, 9, 10 kids. You know, back then. Yeah. Right. Anything, Jesse? You want to right where he starts?
Basically, I started at Coronado Elementary,
Yeah.
4th grade.
Yeah.
And then after that, we moved to Stafford area.
Yeah, and let me, because I am going to interrupt both of you. Coronado at that time was a little wooden building that I grew up to see as the cafeteria. And that little wooden building with the wooden floors that I recall so well, that was the nueceria. The nueceria, and that's where they would crack the pecans and bag them and take them off.
Yeah, one of a kind. Yeah, one of a kind school. Yeah, and after that, of course, I was born actually in San Felipe Street.
Okay.
That's where I was born, and then we stayed there till, like I say, till I was. I can't remember what year I was, how old I was when I moved, but it was in the 4th grade.
You were about 8, 9 years old.
More or less, yes.
Yeah.
You're right. And after that, and it was all, history, But
now, how the house on 39th, was it already there?
No.
Okay. So,
my dad had it built.
okay.
When he bought the property in 1949, and the house was finished in 1957.
Okay.
So that's where kind of we moved. I was about 7 years old. Yeah, we moved over here.
Yeah.
And basically that's
Flushing toilet.
And
Flushing toilet.
Not on San Felipe. No, we didn't have none of that. No flushing toilets. We had electricity, I believe, but no running water. Nothing like that.
Yeah. No. Menos hot water.
Just a little outhouse in back of the house.
¿Ustedes, Henry, outhouse? Or y'all had to flush it?
No, there was an outhouse because there were no sewer systems.
No, that's right.
And a refrigerator. At that time, you had an ice box, and you had to go buy ice.
A bloque.
Put it in there.
Yeah, the iceman would come in with
the hooks, yeah.
And there was no water. There was a man that came by with a truck and sold water. You had to have the containers for everyday use, which was very difficult. And it was, now looking back, it was a hard life. But compared to what we have now, what our parents raised us to be what we are today and what we have today and what we have to give to our kids, it's a big difference. But that's the way life was then, and how much better it became.
Now you were far. If you were close to Culebra, you're still far. Far enough from H.K. Williams, your elementary school. On a rainy day or on a freezing day, tell me about a rainy day or freezing day.
Okay, going to H.K. Williams was not a problem because it was just a couple of blocks away.
Yeah.
But coming to Edgewood, it was a challenge because there were high water. Was the drainage? We didn't have very proper drainage, and there was water everywhere. Trying to cross Highway 90 was really hard. And then once you finally got across, you had to walk all the way from Highway 90 to Edgewood, and the cars would splash you. So by the time you got to school, you were pretty well soaked.
You were soaked.
And so you just made the best you could. But that's the way that things were at that time. Back
Do you remember approximately, and I know you were a young kid, so your walking was fast, but how long would it take you from home to Edgewood High?
It probably would take me around 45 minutes on a good day.
On a good day, yeah.
But on a bad day, it took longer, and of course, we didn't have a car.
There was no car.
No car. And my second year of high school, my sophomore year, I got a car, but I had to come up with half of the money to buy that car, and my father would help me with the rest, on the understanding that I had to take my sister to school with me. And it's like, okay, well that's better. That's better than walking. So it was a good deal.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. Now, Jesse, Edgewood High School, even Escobar was further than Edgewood High School for you, but you're on 39th, right up against Eldridge. How long was your walk?
Well, basically around 45 minutes, because we used to walk at 6:30 in the morning for choir with Mr. Robinson. Remember Mr. Robinson?
At Escobar. This is Escobar, yes.
And I think we left the house about 6:30 in the morning to get there around 7:30, 7:15. This was raining or cold, whatever it is. You got to go to school, But yeah, it was quite a bit of challenge. But actually, we didn't even mind doing it. It was just part of everyday life. You just get used to it.
Understood, yeah.
Because there was nothing compared to anything better. That's what we knew.
Because all the neighbors lived like us, No, there was no difference.
Yeah, nobody had a car there, and whoever did, they had to go to work. They couldn't give you a ride, and so you wouldn't ask for anything. You just do with what you have.
And both of y'all were good at attendance in school.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
You had to.
I,
Our parents
I
demanded.
love your.
You had to. You had nothing else to do, so you better go to school and you better learn.
Yeah, my mom was very strict on that. There was a year in high school that I wanted to drop out to help the family. They said, no, you're not going to drop out. You're going to go to school and finish high school. Even if I have to go beg, you know, you're going to do it.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know, there was my parents, and I appreciate what they did for me, you know. We're still here, man, you know, still kicking. Not very high.
Yeah, I know.
We're kicking.
Food. Tell me about food. You know, y'all both come from poverty-stricken families, you know, and the neighborhood, of course. Tell me about food. What you remember. Was there government food when y'all were little?
That came later.
That came later, because
Yeah,
I
that
remember
came
as a
later.
12-year-old.
Yes,
Yeah,
something
the
like that.
silver cans, you know. Okay, so what? Tell me.
My mother was a great cook. She could make really good meals out of simple things. And whatever she made, you had to eat, whether you liked it or not. And it usually was good, but sometimes it wasn't really that tasty. So
Too bad.
Too bad.
O no comes.
You don't eat. So lo que
Come
you
piedras,
know,
Santiago, come piedras si no quieres.
Decían.
you made do with what you had.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
there was no restaurants, no McDonald's, no nothing, and no money.
I know, and no, hijo,
Of course,
no money.
yeah.
And both of y'all mamas did not work.
Correct.
Yeah,
My mom did not work either,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean outside of the house.
Yeah.
Outside of the house.
It's my dad.
They
No.
did work
Oh, they worked
raising kids.
hard. They
Yeah.
worked
And
hard.
there was no 8 to 5 job.
No.
It was
24/7.
Yes.
24/7.
It was
Hard
a
labor.
hard job.
Hard labor.
Hard.
Yes. So you got to be grateful to your parents for what they did.
Yeah.
For my mother working the way she did to raise us, and my father working the way he did in construction. We didn't get. I didn't get that job. My father told me, whatever job you get, make sure you don't work in the sun,
No, that's
because
neat.
the sun will beat you down. And I figured, well, yeah, I learned that very, very young, working at odd jobs.
Yeah.
So I picked something that I could do indoors, and Edgewood offered those jobs in the vocational industrial trades to learn a trade, and that's where we went, and it worked out well.
Yeah. Worked out very well. If you had the retirement and everything, company were the shops air conditioned for y'all, or at least fans were blowing in your direction?
We had fans, but no air
Yeah.
conditioning.
No.
Not
Not
yet.
even heater with cold.
Oh, well, I'll
but
contact the Cavenders.
Moving around it was fine, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
Yeah. Well, y'all are out in the garage. Everybody knows that.
It worked out well.
Yeah.
It was a challenging job, but hey, we survived
Yeah.
all these years, you know.
Anything else, Yvonne? Anything else? 'Cause-
Yes. When you all got hired right out of high school, working as
Upholstery.
doing upholstery. Was that part of your giving back? Were you expected to give back to your family, like to help them financially while you were working?
Oh,
Part of your
yes,
paycheck would come.
yes.
And was that something that you really thought about doing? Right out of high school, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Automatically, it was going to happen.
It was automatic for me because I used to work in odd jobs in high school at night and right there by Zamora that produce.
Oh, yes,
We
I
worked
know.
at night, all night long.
Yeah.
Get a few
The
bucks.
18-wheeler.
And I would
Yeah.
give the money to my mom, and my mom would give me, you know, whatever for the week, you know,
Yeah.
$1 or $2. It was a lot of money.
Which
at
was
the time,
good.
you know.
Which was
And the rest, you know, they was helping out. I was the only son in the family, so I was expecting.
Correct.
I was expecting more of me.
more
than,
of you than the sisters.
We used to
Yeah.
go to the las piscas right there in the port and all that, and my dad would put me in the field to pick cotton. I would play. I was about 12, 13 years old. And I said, well, how come you put my sisters there? Well, get them in there with a sack too. No. They're ladies, they're girls.
Girls.
They're not. They shouldn't be in the field. Okay, you know that's fine. But they did the cooking, and did the washing and everything
Yeah.
for the people there. So
Yeah.
everybody contributed. Everybody contributed. You know, as a family.
And did you work the fields, Henry? Do you? No.
No.
No, you never did. Okay, y'all did.
I did.
You-
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a blink of an eye. But yeah, we came back. There was a school money when we came back. It was this summertime. We came back, and then first count was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
No. I'm curious. What was like your first paycheck?
Oh, how much an hour?
$1.25 an hour, $1.25 an hour, working full time.
$1.25 an hour, and that was like more than the actual minimum wage, so to speak, because it was a
It was
skill.
wages. Yeah, it was.
That was minimal.
wages.
That was minimum.
Oh, that was minimum.
Yes.
So were you all paid for your skill or not? Because you
You already
were right out of high
going,
school.
yeah.
But was it
Well,
like
in my case, when I started at Cadillac, I started at $160 an hour.
Ah.
That's what they started me at as a trainee. Mr. West sent me to the Cadillac store because they needed a apprentice there.
Yeah.
And by chance, he recommended me to go. I don't know why, but I guess
So
I was more interested
they
in-
did pay you over the minimum at
Mhm.
that point.
Yeah. So I started as a trainee, and then my first 6 months I had to, probation, and then if you don't make it the first 6 months, you're out of here. So that's fine, So I survived the 6 months, and then I kept going and going, and then but yeah, it after that they pay you by commission. I went working like that after my 4th year. They put me on commission, which means that you get paid by every job that you do.
That you do.
You don't get paid by the company doesn't pay you. No, they have to work. In other words, so you have to work your butt off to. If you want the money, it's there. You just have to. The faster you work, the faster you finish
Of
the
course.
job, the faster you're gonna get another one, and it's a routine. It's
Yeah.
So that's the way we worked all our lives. It's very challenging.
Yeah.
Very many hours, early hours, late hours, but we had a lot of cars from Mexico to redo the upholstery completely from inside. But back then, a new car, if you bought a new car here, Cadillac here, and it was worth say 50,000. Well, the tariff was 3 times as much to cross it over to Mexico.
Posting, yeah.
So then the people got smarter with it. Instead of buying new cars here, they brought their cars over to us, and we rebuilt them completely from the frame on up. Engine, transmission, upholstery,
Wow.
everything. So instead of paying $150,000 for a new Cadillac, pay $50,000 and you have a brand new Cadillac.
Yeah.
Everything rebuilt.
Yeah, rebuilt.
So that worked for them, and that's what we had a lot in the 70s. I think you started in the late 70s, right, with us?
Yeah.
And Henry remembers when we had all that work. That's why we hired Henry, because we needed an extra, and I didn't know anybody else that I could
I know.
depend on
Trust.
and knew that he could handle the work.
Yeah, because y'all learned the same thing. Yeah. Of course,
So
same
that's the way,
teacher.
that's the way it worked for us. But and my instructor, Mercedes, he was my mentor. He showed me everything that
Yeah.
and he retired in 1990. So after 1990, I couldn't find anybody else to replace it. So I stayed by myself since 1990 till I retired in 2012.
Nice.
I was about 15, 20 years by myself, one-man department though.
One-man department.
when did you retire?
In
2012.
2012. You both.
Oh, really? Y'all both retired the same year?
Yeah.
You know what? I remember that.
So what do you think was the most, I don't know, the best part of that job that you had, aside from the fact that this was a life skill that you learned back in high school? What was the best thing? Either it could be that you learned the skill back in high school and that you were able to master it. But what did you all get out of this in life other than a career?
Well, we learned as we went along as trainees, and there were other people there in the company that had other skills that we learned from them. So we learned a little bit about everything about the car. And the good thing about it is once you learned it, then you went home and you could do jobs like that at home and make extra money because of what we learned from starting from Edgewood High School, going to a dealership as a trainee and becoming, making that as a career. It helped a lot to take it home and help people. Sometimes you did it for money, sometimes you did it for a favor for people to help. and it worked out well.
And we've done a lot of those where people favor, help people out.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
We've helped a lot of people out.
Yes.
When my deal is vocational is so important for high schools.
Of course.
You know, they're so important because, you know, going back to our days, you know, our mentors, whatever we want to call them, they called me in and told me, look, your academics are not good enough for scholarship. Your sports is not good enough for scholarship. So the only thing is you have to wait for the draft or get a vocational. Get into a vocational shop and see what happens after that. So that's what we did. That's what I did, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of guys went to college and went on and became very successful, which I'm glad for them. They're from Edgewood and all that. So yeah, it's very, very important. And nowadays, I don't know, I think Lanier has them. I don't know who else does.
I can't even tell
Yeah.
you.
Cosmetology for the young ladies.
Oh
everyone
my
I met,
goodness!
you know.
And look how many of our girls
Oh,
and
yeah,
guys
right,
ended up
right.
working on hair.
Exactly. So it was. It became what you made it. If you liked it, you enjoyed your work. You got after it. You know, I guess.
I have a comment, okay, and I understand that where we came from, and I say which community, Westside, you know, a lot of times we weren't considered for those high-paying jobs simply because of where you came from. We weren't considered. Sports, same thing with sports. You know, you could have been the best basketball player, football player back in the day, unless you excelled and they knew that you were 100%.
That's as far as you got.
Yeah.
That was it, because I know that a lot of times, a lot of these guys that I know played baseball, played football, and I know my uncle played basketball, and he was one of the best players for Edgewood.
Yes, he was.
He just said what they told him.
Yeah.
You're not going to be
Yeah.
good enough.
Exactly.
To continue,
And that's why you have to go into a different frame of mind.
Mhm.
Okay, this is not going to work out. What am I going to do now? So you have the rest of the whole life in front of you.
Mhm.
So you have to
So
go
what
out
are you
and,
gonna do?
you know.
Mhm.
You know, when I started there at the Cadillac store, and the guy told me, you came in from the west side. He was, yes sir, I did. And I says, okay, how did you apply for the job? They were my instructor at high school. He recommended me, so that's why I'm here. So I said, well, first of all, I'm gonna have to send you to the police department. You have to get a clearance from the police department, and if you do come back, then we'll talk. Because most of you don't come back when you go and get the guys that come in here. That's what they told me.
That's exactly.
So okay, so I said, okay, that's good. I went to the police department. I came back with my clearance. And the guy said, oh, you made it back. The guy said, like, you know, it was old German guy.
Yeah.
Just like, you know,
Mhm.
okay, you made it back. He said, yes, you know, I'm clear, I'm clean. Okay, then he told me, okay, I like your credentials, so let's go. And he sent me up to the poultry shop, and from then on,
Wow.
but they were kind of, you know, a bit racist on the side.
Oh,
you know,
well,
they-
of course, but
you
that
know,
was
they-
the time.
they- they- they was, you know, they-
Sadly, that was the time. You know, here I am, a female, and a good kid. I was not never an honor roll student, a good student. And I wasn't going to go to college. The counseling department told me, you're not going to college. You're going to marry Richard, you're going to have children. Bye, se acabó. And they sent me out.
That's the way, like a kick in the butt, and not a,
So
you know,
common,
chance or
normal,
nothing.
that's the way it was. Yvonne, anything else before we let the guys
No,
go?
I really enjoyed this.
I know.
really did.
Thank you so much.
And that's where your mom grew up, right there in San Felipe Street.
Right there.
All
Yeah.
your, all your tias, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Henry. Anything else that has been on your mind for the last few days that you say, oh, I have to say this? Anything?
I basically covered everything that I wanted to say, you
okay.
know, that for your questions, you know.
Okay, good.
One thing I want to mention about Edgewood High School, there was an ROTC program at Edgewood High School, and a lot of young men and young women were in ROTC, and they made a career out of the military. Whatever branch they went, and they stayed, and they went in a difficult time during the Vietnam War. Unfortunately, some of them paid the ultimate price, and the ones that did come back came back with a lot of problems, especially Agent Orange, PTSD. But we're grateful to all those young men, and we appreciate what they did for our country and the service that they did.
Of course.
And that's what makes Edgewood proud is that they became the Edgewood vets
Oh,
in
strong,
our district.
strong number.
And I've been very fond of those young men. They're still here, and I'm grateful for their service.
Oh, thank you, Henry. Thank you so much.
Special salute to my brother-in-law, your dad, Gilbert Peña. He was a veteran from the Korean War, I believe, and so you know, we're so proud of him. You know,
Yeah,
him and I are the last ones that are alive. You know,
That's scary.
brother-in-law,
Yeah, I know
So
that's
so
scary.
yeah, yes, your dad, thank you for your service.
Henry, you already talked about our guys from our Vietnam guys. So are we done?
I'm fine.
Guys,
I'm done.
guys,
Are you a
thank so
veteran?
much.
Pardon?
Are you a veteran?
No.
You're not. Okay. Oh, I thought you were a member of the
Of the vets?
veterans.
No.
But I'm grateful to all the veterans that do serve in the military from the Edgewood district and everywhere else.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate y'all coming out here
Thank
today.
you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.